Hello everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about something really serious. It's heartbreaking, actually. California is on fire again. And I'm not just talking about a little brush fire. I'm talking about two massive wildfires that have turned thousands of acres into ash. We're talking about the Palisades Fire and the Eaton Fire. These fires, my friends, are no joke. We're talking about over 40,000 acres burned. That's bigger than the city of San Francisco. Can you even imagine that? And the flames have been so fierce, so unforgiving, that they've forced over 150,000 people to flee their homes. It's a mass exodus, and it's absolutely terrifying. Sadly, this story gets even more tragic. At least 24 people have lost their lives in these infernos. 24 souls gone too soon. It just breaks my heart to think about the families who are grieving right now. And as if the devastation wasn't bad enough, there's another layer to this story. A layer that makes it even more unsettling: arson. That's right, folks. Authorities suspect that at least one of these fires was deliberately set. Someone, somewhere, may have intentionally unleashed this inferno, and that's just plain wrong. It's cruel, it's criminal, and it's got everyone on edge. Let's start by taking a closer look at the Palisades Fire. This beast erupted on a Tuesday morning, seemingly out of nowhere. It started on a hilltop, a place called Temescal Ridge Trail. Picture dry brush, steep slopes, and a whole lot of fuel for a fire. It didn't take long for the flames to take hold and start spreading like wildfire. Now, investigators have been working overtime to figure out what sparked this blaze. They've ruled out a couple of usual suspects. Lightning? Nope. Power lines? Not this time. So, what's left? Well, they're focusing on human activity. Think about it. A discarded cigarette, a stray ember from a campfire, even something as simple as a broken piece of glass focusing the sun's rays can ignite a fire in these dry conditions. It's a scary thought, right? But here's the thing. While arson is definitely on the table, it's not the most likely scenario in this case. You see, the Palisades Fire ignited in some pretty rugged terrain. It's not the easiest place to access, which makes it less likely that someone would intentionally start a fire there. But that doesn't mean we can rule out arson entirely. The investigation is ongoing, and the truth is out there somewhere. Now, let's move on to the Eaton Fire. This one started east of Altadena, and it didn't waste any time exploding in size. It was like someone lit a match to a powder keg. And unlike the Palisades Fire, there's a very real possibility that this one was sparked by something we rely on every day: electricity. You see, there are high-voltage transmission lines running through the area where the Eaton Fire ignited. And when you have dry conditions and strong winds, those power lines can become a recipe for disaster. A downed line, a spark, and boom, you've got yourself a major wildfire. Now, I'm not saying that power lines are definitely to blame in this case. It's still under investigation. But they are a potential culprit, and that's why investigators are focusing their attention on an electrical transmission tower in Eaton Canyon. They're looking for any signs of malfunction or damage that could have sparked the fire. And let me tell you, the utility companies are feeling the heat. Southern California Edison, or SCE, and the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP, are both under scrutiny for their decisions regarding power lines during high winds. Did they do enough to prevent this tragedy? That's what everyone wants to know. Section 4. Hunting for Answers, the Arson Investigation. Now let's talk about the arson investigation itself. This is a massive undertaking, and it involves a whole army of experts. We're talking about local law enforcement, fire investigators, and even the big guns, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF. These folks don't mess around. They're like the CSI of fire investigations. And trust me, they don't jump to conclusions. Determining whether a fire was intentionally set is a long and meticulous process. It's like putting together a giant jigsaw puzzle that's been burned to a crisp. They have to sift through the ashes, literally, looking for any tiny clue that might point to the cause of the fire. We're talking about painstakingly recreating the scene, analyzing burn patterns, and examining every piece of charred debris under a microscope. And even then, finding evidence of human involvement is just the first step. They then have to determine if it was an accident, negligence, or something more sinister. In the meantime, social media has been buzzing with speculation and accusations. Everyone's got a theory, and some people are quick to point fingers. But it's important to remember that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Section 5. Scars on the landscape, impact and response. The aftermath of these fires is just devastating. We're talking about billions of dollars in damaged homes reduced to rubble, businesses gone up in smoke. AccuWeather estimates the total cost could be as high as $150 billion. That would make these fires the costliest in U.S. history. It's hard to even wrap your head around that kind of destruction. And then there's the human toll. Thousands of people have been displaced, forced to flee their homes with just the clothes on their backs. They're living in shelters, uncertain about the future, wondering if they'll ever be able to return to their lives. It's heartbreaking. But amidst the devastation, there's also hope. Communities are coming together to support one another. Firefighters are working tirelessly to contain the blazes, and the government is stepping in to provide aid and assistance. Governor Newsom has ordered investigations into the fires and has issued a state of emergency. He's also barred insurance companies from canceling policies in affected areas, which is a huge relief for homeowners who have lost everything. Section 6. Preventing the next Inferno, lessons from the past. These fires are a stark reminder that we're living in a time of increasing wildfire risk. Climate change is making our planet hotter and drier, and that's creating a tinderbox just waiting to ignite. But here's the thing, over 95% of wildfires are started by humans. That's right, we're the problem. Sometimes it's intentional, but more often than not, it's accidental. A spark from a lawnmower, a chain dragging on the pavement, even a discarded cigarette butt can set off a chain reaction that leads to disaster. And then there's the issue of utility equipment. Power lines, transformers, all that stuff. It's a leading cause of California's deadliest wildfires. So what can we do about it? Well, for starters, we need to be more careful. We need to be aware of the risks and take precautions. We need to clear brush around our homes, avoid using fireworks, and be extra cautious when conditions are dry and windy. And on a larger scale, we need to invest in fire prevention measures, like underground power lines and better forest management. It's not cheap, but it's a small price to pay to protect our communities and our planet. Section 7. Staying safe in a state of fire, a call to action. As we wrap up today's show, I want to leave you with a message of hope and resilience. California has been through a lot lately, but we're a tough state. We're a state that knows how to come together in times of crisis. And we'll get through this too, but we can't do it alone. We need everyone to do their part. So please, stay informed, stay safe, and stay kind to one another. Check on your neighbors, donate to relief efforts if you can, and most importantly, be fire safe. Because even though these fires will eventually die down, the threat is always there. And we need to be ready. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.